I don't think she saw me.
I don't remember the questions I asked.
No, neither.
I call this meeting to order for Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Susan Payne,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dusty Wright,
Here.
Commissioner Sharon McDonald,
Here.
Commissioner Josh Reardon,
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Burnett,
Here.
Commissioner Carl Melton,
Here.
Commissioner Nick Paul,
Here.
City Manager Brian Caesar,
Here.
City Attorney Ashley Smith.
Here.
The clerk is present. Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Rachel. We are going to start with our invocation given by Pastor Don Hoffman and the pledge led by Mayor Pro Tem Wright. If you'll stand, please.
Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this meeting. We just ask the Holy Spirit to be here and the anointing of Jesus from the top of their heads to the bottom of their souls. We thank you for this wonderful city that they represent and the great things that are yet to come. That the Lord continue to bless them and bless everybody that is a part of this community. So we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please follow me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to start off with the approval of the agenda. I'm sorry, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner McDonald. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Melton. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And next we have a presentation. I've got Selena King here from the Daughters of the American Revolution. I know where you want to. So this week, well, it starts on September 17th, is Constitution Week. And that goes through the 23rd. It's fitting that in this day and time that we celebrate and recognize our Constitution and that we recognize that we should always use it in the spirit in which it was written and intended. And so with that, whereas September 17th, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorial anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Susan Payne, Mayor of the City of Alamogordo, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. And I urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities that privilege involves. Thank you. I've known her 20 years and she's shaking my hand. One of my closest friends. Thank you, Serena. Okay. Next, we have a presentation on Alamogordo Police Department recruitment and retention. We've got Kim Torres, our Human Resources Director, and Chief Richard Denton.
Mayor Payne, I have one thing. They can't hear the sound online.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
Maybe you can sign that to them or something. I'm aware of that. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Commission. So we have some information for you. As you're aware, we've had some difficulties in retaining police officers, so we've come up with some ideas to hopefully combat that. So in 2000, or since 2018, we've had 43, actually 50 police officers resign. We've hired 43. So the problem isn't necessarily recruiting officers, it's retaining them once they're here. Some of the reasons that we looked at, we pulled all the files back to 2018 to look at exit interviews and find out why officers were leaving. Can you do that? Sorry.
I don't want to stand here.
Okay, you've got a job now.
Yeah, we don't have,
It's about time.
So as you can see, pay and benefits, out of the 43, there was 7 officers that named that in their exit interview as being the
Commissioners,
reason.
it's on page 12. These are out of order if you're trying to follow along. So the slides, well, mine was, my slide is way out of order. So if you're trying to follow along, you'll have to skip to slide 12. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Some were involuntary terms, 43, there was 5 of those, and then there was various reasons for people to leave. 16 of them were various reasons, including resignation in lieu of termination and medical reasons. In 2021, we completed the APSOA contract, which brought increases to the police officers. The average increase was 9.25%, which was an increase to the salary budget of nearly $136,000. That doesn't include payroll benefits and para. We also had the compensation study, which we completed earlier this year. The impact of that was to the department was another $104,000 in salary budget. Some of the changes that we've already done was the commission passed the 4 police officer aides. We are recruiting for those right now. We actually have interviews set up for Thursday. We've had 13 candidates, and I think we have 8 who are confirmed right now to interview on Thursday. So hopefully we'll get those filled pretty quickly. We also implemented the compensation study earlier than we planned. The original plan was for FY23. Although it wasn't super early, we were able to implement that on June 13th, I believe it was, so a pay period early. We're continuing to watch the exit interviews as police officers resign, to track that and why they're leaving. We've updated a couple policies through city manager's directive relating to testing and pay for experience for new officers. So we're hoping that will help in recruiting and then obviously keeping employees once they start. And then we're working hard with APD to recruit and streamline the recruitment process to shorten it a bit. Unfortunately, it's a long process, it seems, no matter what we do. Some of the other things that we're currently working on is we're working with an MCO, which is a creative studio to do recruiting videos. We're doing continuous monitoring of exit interviews. We provided, I know I provided, and I think Chief Denton did too, information to the New Mexico Municipal League regarding legislature for allowing retired para employees to come back to work and not have to lose their pension. So we provided input for that, so hopefully that will help. And then some of the other things we're working on is a recruitment incentive for staff. I have a policy drafted for this. It's not completed yet, but we're hoping to offer incentives to current employees who refer candidates to us that eventually get hired. So we're working on that right now. And we're also, I just completed our affirmative action plan, and in 2022 versus 2021, we saw a decrease in applications by nearly 300. So we're hoping with the compensation study that we'll see an increase in applications. It's a little too early to tell that yet, but that's what we're hoping for. And then APD is working on several things, so I'll turn it over to Chief so that he can explain what he's going to be doing.
Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners. I've been, ever since our last meeting, I've been talking with the city manager, submitted some different things to him, and we come up with, we're gonna allocate $300,000 annually through the cannabis tax revenue, whatever you want to call it, that's coming back. And my presentation to him, or my ideas to him, we can kind of be flexible on what we want to deal with that money coming back to us, and I'll provide the plan to the manager. Of course, it'll have to be approved through him for sure. And then we're hoping to get that you guys might see the resolution for that money on the next agenda when it comes through. And do you have any questions? I think Kim left me.
Does anybody have any questions? I think the 300,000, I think it's a well-known fact how I feel about cannabis in our city. So I don't think I've hidden that. However, what I will say is I think this is brilliant because at least we're doing something positive with it, and at least it will go back into the very place that it probably needs to be because of the effects that cannabis is probably going to have in our city. So, not that I know that for sure. I'm just speculating, but anyway, I thought this was pretty ingenious myself. So, kudos to whoever thought of it, or the people that thought of it, the person, but I'm really happy to see this. Anybody else? No?
Thank you.
Okay, so this is just a presentation right now, right? I mean, we're not,
This is just to, what we said we would bring back at probably one of the next two commission meetings. This will be part of the overall budget resolution, and the chief and I will be getting together, and he probably has it waiting for me for tomorrow morning, but
right.
he will be bringing me the proposed plan for the expenditures of those funds. Now, obviously, we can't do that until it goes through the resolution process.
Right, and just so I understand it, it could change from year to year. I mean,
The amount?
not necessarily the amount, but what you use it for. What?
Well, that's the real idea. So if you go back in time a little bit with issues in whether it's PD or any other department, but tonight obviously we're focused on PD. You've had different city managers, different police chiefs up before city commission with this exact issue. It didn't just start in 2018.
Right.
This has been cyclical over the years. And you've had the chief at the time, the city manager say, well, if commission will just allow us to do X, that will take care of the problem. What this does is gives management the flexibility to evolve as it changes. What the chief is going to present to me isn't necessarily, here's how I'm going to spend every single dollar.
Right.
And it's not just one fix. It's not just everyone needs a take-home police car, for example.
Right.
It can be multiple things for to encourage the retention or the recruitment or both. So this, from the management side, for us, this gives us, like I said, the most flexibility to evolve as things change.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I think and then it's not set in stone, not one, it's wherever it's needed at that time, so.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, it was actually Evelyn that said, hey, how about the finance director, Evelyn Huff?
Shout out to Evelyn.
How about, because we did have to, there weren't restrictions tied to how the cannabis revenue from the GRT was used by municipalities or counties. But what the state has said is we all have to report on how those monies were used. So we were already setting it aside in its own fund to make the tracking of it easier. She was the one that said, well, hey, how about we use this for this issue?
Shout out to you, Evelyn. I think it's brilliant. I really do. I think of all things, we're using cannabis money to support our police department. How much smarter can you get than that? Anyway. It just makes sense, doesn't it? I think it makes so much sense. Anyway, okay. Moving on. All right.
Quick
Well,
question.
thank you. I'm sorry, yes.
Brian, when you guys, for this first go round of this money, I know you said you'll bring the resolution forward on the next meeting or the meeting after, but will you kind of show us what your plan is for the first year? I mean, we're
Yes,
going to be
and then-
voting on the resolution to go ahead and fund it, but if we can kind of see what it
Yeah,
is.
we can bring that forward, and then
I know it'll change year to year, but for
yes,
this,
in subsequent years, it will actually be a line item that you'll see in the police department's budget. You'll see it in various other budgets. And the amount, whether it's in PD's budget or a different budget, will fluctuate. And just like any other line item, through the budgetary process, we'll answer questions, probably break that out so that it's something that we highlight in the budget hearing.
so when you bring the resolution forward, the next meeting or two, you'll have a kind of a description of what we're planning on using it for this.
If the chief has it to me, yes. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he has it. Yeah, he's shaking his head, yes, he has it
And then
ready.
One other quick question on the cannabis, we got 300,000. What's the total annual that we received?
Evelyn will correct me if I'm wrong, but on average at this point, we're seeing about $17,000 a month. So we are going to be supplementing a little bit here at the beginning out of the general fund, but not by.
So we're going to pretty much utilize all of the cannabis money.
All
for
of the
details.
cannabis, today for what we projected, all of the cannabis money, the revenue that we would collect would go towards this, and then it will be supplemented somewhat out of the general fund.
Okay,
I feel like it'll probably go up, though.
it probably will, as all these dispensaries that are popping up open.
Yeah, and
I'm
that,
sure.
that'll just reduce the subsidy
multiple.
from the general fund.
Growers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, so I'm sure that will grow up. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Haven't produced a lot yet.
No, okay. We will move on to, well, I want to say public comment, except that they're all for item 7, so I think we'll wait until item 7 for those. And with that, we'll move on to the city manager's report.
Excuse me. I think you all noticed someone different is sitting beside me tonight. It's
I
officially
didn't notice.
her second
No.
day. So what better way to break her into the city than to put her on the spot? It's Ashley Smith, new city attorney, and I'm going to turn my time over to her.
Good evening. My name's Ashley Smith. I am now your all new city attorney. I have been here in Alamogordo for about 4 years now. Prior to this, I was working with the public defender's office. But yeah, I'm really excited to start and getting to know all of you better.
Anybody have any questions? Welcome to the city.
Thank you, Mayor.
We'll see if she's still smiling 3 meetings from now. I even made Josh laugh. Look at that. Okay. We will now move into remarks and inquiries by the city commission. Does anybody have anything? No?
I'll do one. Kudos to staff. They got Lavelle Road mowed out there today, so it looks a lot better. So I actually seen them out on the highway mowing and Lavelle and
I'll pass it along to him.
okay.
The weeds are crazy right now. Those rains just were a blessing and a curse, right? Just a reminder to everybody that the White Sands Balloon and Music Festival is this weekend. It's not too late to get your tickets and go out and support that. It should be a good time. I have nothing else. Nobody has anything else? Okay, all right. We will now move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to pull off the consent agenda? It's very small today. No?
Make a motion to approve consent agenda items 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Reardon to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Mayor Pro Tem Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carl Melton,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Dusty Wright,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We have no items removed from the consent agenda. We'll move on to new business. Item 7, discussion on steps after a petition for referendum is submitted and possible special election. And we'll start with public comment, or Rachel? Rachel first? Okay.
Okay. Yes, Mayor, Commissioners. So I just wanted to explain that in the process of doing the validation for the petition that was submitted by some of the citizens here. So it turned out that the petition was actually not valid due to it not being properly, the steps weren't actually done correctly according to the state statute, section 315B, where it does state that each page or group of pages of a petition shall be accepted for filing by a municipal clerk, county clerk, the governing body. In this case, it would be the municipal clerk. And the municipal clerk has approved the form of petitions to be filed with the municipality prior to the circulation of the petition. So this was not done. And in item 3, it also says each page of the petition to be filed contains the approval of the city clerk as far as the signature goes, along with the petition, the heading, and the penalty statement are legible when submitting for filing.
Okay, thank you. We do have some public comment on that now, right? I've never done this before. We have John Block.
Thank you, Commission. I appreciate you for taking the time to make this meeting tonight. And so, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to your city clerk and your deputy city clerk. I know how hard they worked with my IPRA request to get information from the city on what we needed to do to find out what these signatures were, how to verify them. And that's exactly what I did independently. I put them all in a spreadsheet, and I utilized my data skills to look at the voter file, and I came up with a number that did not match the necessary petitions needed for this petition to go forward. So that is good, in my opinion. And so I think that the city should look very hard at the city charter because right now it says 20% of the last elections people who voted in the last election. And I think that that number is too low. And I think that number needs to go to more of a 30% because that is something attainable. And it also will keep the city from having to deal with frivolous attempts at trying to take away your power as you were appointed and elected to do. So I would just urge that. And then I also want to note that the final numbers on the petition were far less than the needed. I believe it was 589, and they only hit 507 according to the IPRA that I got from the city clerk's office. So This just proves that the individuals who put this petition forward without following the rules, they are in the extreme minority in our community, because not only could they not meet the 589 petition signatures they needed, they got 507. So this is an extreme fringe minority that's backed up with many out-of-state interests and hands trying to push abortion in our community. And I believe our community is pro-life, as we saw from this petition failing. They had 30 days, and they had the support of the media. They had the support of these dark money groups. They had national attention. They had someone with a chopper drive down or come down with KOAT 7 to talk about their petition, and still it failed. So I just want to reaffirm how it failed repeatedly, and with my investigation and the city's investigation themselves, I think it's very important that we talk about the truth and the facts, and the fact is that they were not successful. So thank you all so much, commissioners. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Sherry Adkison. Adkison?
Hello, my name is Shara Adkison, and I was going to say something, but I won't. I'm biting my tongue right now. I too made an IPRA request, and I would like to know the discussion that the clerk had with the New Mexico Municipal League and the Secretary of State. That's on the PSA that you put out about 4:30 today, which doesn't give us very much time to do any kind of investigation. And we also have the IPRA list, and some of the names on here include people I know who are registered voters. So we will update this according to the 315 statutes and have all these reinstated, because this is not a true thing. You don't have to live at the address on your registration card to vote. And I'm not sure how this is going to affect having a petition, but that will be looked into. And thank you. I didn't realize who was a city employee and who wasn't.
I can't.
You're not on the
I
list.
can't. I'm sorry, you're not on the list.
You're not on the list,
There's-
sir.
you're- Matt, you can't. I'm sorry.
They're aware of that.
No, I
They
know.
mentioned it in the
We're
beginning of the
working on it.
meeting, and they're aware of it. Thank you.
It is being
Every
recorded.
meeting's recorded.
Yeah, it's being recorded with audio. I'm sorry that they can't hear it. I apologize. My husband gets on here every 2 weeks and watches too, and I'm sure it'll be the first thing I hear when I walk in the door tonight. At which point I will say, I know, I've heard that 3 times already. So with that, next is Ashley Myers.
Hi, I'm Ashley Myers, in case anybody didn't know. I was going to prepare a 3-minute speech, but I've been spending 2 days having cancer treatment in Albuquerque, so I was unable to do that. Couple things. The number was 586, not 589, and we were stalled for a week by the city. I could not get the numbers for a week. In addition, when I did get the numbers, the city clerk spoke to me about the petition. So to say it was invalidated because she didn't approve it is kind of crazy, but that's okay. On August 2nd of this year, a special meeting was called where the unelected commissioner from District 2 proposed a resolution that would name Alamogordo a sanctuary city for the unborn. The last line of the resolution states, "The city commission hereby declares itself a sanctuary city for the unborn." The city commission is a sanctuary city for the unborn. That's what it says. I'm not here though today to talk about abortion access or lack thereof, because we all know that's not happening here. There's no abortion clinic here. What I'm here to talk about is how this resolution and resolutions like this cause nothing more than further division among the people of our community. The job of a city government is to be fiscally responsible with the tax dollars they receive in order to disperse those funds within the community where it's needed, isn't it? Aren't the members of this commission elected to grow our community and foster relationships within our community? rather than impose their personal religious beliefs upon them. In addition, there is a code of ethics for commissioners, isn't there? I'll read a part of it. The professional and personal conduct of commissioners must be above reproach and avoid even the appearance of impropriety. Commissioners shall refrain from abusive conduct, personal charges, or verbal attacks upon the character or motives of other members of the commission, city staff, or the public. I am part of the public. The attacks, the dark money thing, great, that's insanity. Yeah, I mean, I paid $90 for some flyers. That's dark money. I'm kind of flabbergasted that you would be so anti-democracy. I'm a private citizen who did my best in good faith to put forth a petition within the 30-day timeline that I was told there was no form here. And so I was told I could do it. And we have not been able to look at those signatures, so I don't know that that 507 number is accurate or not. But I will say, again, the first week that I was trying to do this, I was refused the numbers for the 2 municipal elections that the county clerk doesn't have. Over and over again. I had to get the county clerk involved in order to get the numbers from those, because it isn't as simple as Mr. Block would say. It's either the last election or the average of the last 4 elections, whichever is more. So I had to get all of those numbers, which I did. And so in 21 days, even if this 507 is accurate, that's still very close. And I just find the anti-democratic climate in this area to be disconcerting. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cindy?
That's me.
Tell me your last name.
Broughton.
Broughton.
Rhymes with rotten.
The only thing I know is that I believe you were my son's physical therapist or
Yeah, occupational.
occupational therapist.
Yeah, we've known each other
many,
for
many,
15 years
many
at
years
least.
ago. Yeah. He's going to be 30. So yeah, it's been a while. Been a minute.
So I brought something to read. My name is Cindy Broughton. I've lived in Otero County 21 years. I worked in Alamogordo for 15 of those years. That's when I met Susan 15 years ago, probably. I do most of my business in Alamogordo, but I currently reside in Tularosa. But 21 years I've been here in Alamogordo area. And I did assist with the petition drive the last 6 days of the drive. I was working really hard to get registered people. So I'm just here to say how disappointed I am in regard to the issues surrounding this petition. It was a reaction to a resolution that I don't think reflected necessarily all of the voters, your constituents in this county. Ashley and her team approached the city officials in good faith. She asked for assistance and clarification. The laws are vague. She was not met, in my opinion, with the same goodwill or transparency that one would expect. So my personal conclusion is that there is a lack of regard for the opinions of the people in this city. Those are the people you represent. The name calling that I have read on social media is appalling. The things you have said about your mayor is just, I can't understand it. And I see a sense of indifference to Ashley and her team, to the 640 some people that we got signatures for. They signed in good faith, and I talked to hundreds of them personally. Some were Democrat, some were Republican, some were independent, but they all felt they weren't being represented by you. I also feel like there was a total indifference with the beginning of all of this, with the initial resolution. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Well, I'm going to say a couple of things because apparently I'm an easy target. It's okay. Those of you that have known me a long time know I have very thick skin, and I could really care less what people say about me because my friends know who I am and they know what I stand for. But thank you for your comment. And those that don't know me and know what I stand for, they don't really matter to me. But it's interesting when you go through a process like this, you do find out who's got your back and who doesn't. And Serena's here tonight. I'll use her as an example. We agree on almost nothing, and I adore her, and I would fall on a sword for her. And we agree on almost nothing, and she will tell you that. Because the one thing I do know is we don't all have to agree. We don't. And you know what? That's what makes our democracy so great. That's what makes our country so great. That's what that Constitution is all about. So you can say what you want about me, but for those of you that were at the meeting that night, you all know that the very first thing I said was that I am 100% pro-life. And I don't apologize for it, and I'm not ashamed of it. 100% pro-life. Those of you that have known me for years know that about me. But I will maintain with pride my stance that this is not a function of city government. My plan, and I voted yes on the second resolution, and quite honestly, I probably shouldn't have done that either. I wasn't really voting for or against life. I was voting to support our county, which has got its own issues right now. So my plan is actually probably to bring that resolution, that second resolution forth, and let's revisit it. I can't do anything about the first one, but I can tell you that I sleep well at night. I love my Jesus. I love my family. I love all life. I think I demonstrate that every day that I go to work. Pastor Hoffman is here. I think he can tell you that. I think others can tell you that. And I will always stand up for life. But I will not compromise my integrity by using this dais to do something that is personally motivating. I have way more integrity than that. And that's all I have to say on this subject. So we can move forward if nobody has anything else to say. Perfect. Okay, last thing. Appointments to boards and committees. Do we even have any appointments to boards and committees?
Just one.
We do have one. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and read these real quick. Mayor's Committee on Aging. Gosh, I can't talk. We have one current vacancy. We have one application by Chris. I'm going to butcher it. Morkish? If appointed, this will be his first term. Is he here tonight? No. And if nobody has any objections, I'm going to go ahead and appoint him to that board. I did attend my first Mayor's Committee on Aging meeting the other day, and actually, I got to tell you, they're very organized over there. I was super impressed. Really enjoyed that. Airport Zoning Board, we have 3 current vacancies. No applications were received. The Senior Volunteer Programs Advisory Council, we have 3 current vacancies. No applications were received. If you are interested in serving on any of these boards, I know they can't hear us online right now, but we are being recorded. If you're interested in serving on any of these boards, please check our website, or you can come down and talk to the city clerk about that. With that, we will be moving into adjourning into executive closed section in compliance with 10-15-1 to discuss possible litigation in which the city of Alamogordo would be a party due to resolution 2022-38. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Reardon. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Commissioner McDonald.
A second from Commissioner McDonald. All those in, oh, I'm sorry. It's a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carl Melton,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Dusty Wright,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. We are adjourned.